Welcome to Scrapandcoffee. In this video we will be starting with the tutorial for the Coffee and Friends folio. So in this video we will be starting with the tutorial for this folio. If you want to make it with me, you can find a cutting guide on my website scrapandcoffee.com. It's a free download that you can find on my blog. So please cut and score your pieces and then you can follow me along in this video. So let's start with making the cover for the folio. In order to make our cover, we will be needing our A and B pieces out of cardstock and the C and D pieces out of Krafttex. Now if you don't have Krafttex, you can make these out of a heavyweight cardstock, like a 100 pound or a 110 pound. My advice is to, if you have Tyvek, to use Tyvek to make your spine stronger. But Krafttex is a really nice sturdy material that will make the possibility of your spine ripping really small. So if you can get some Krafttex, then that would be my advice to use. So to our pieces A, we haven't done anything, so we just put them aside for a second. We will be starting with our pieces B. We have scored them on two sides and we will be folding on those score lines. And with a score line you have a dented side and you have a bumpy side, and we are going to fold towards the bumpy side because that will give you a straighter fold. So because this is a heavyweight cardstock, this is a 110 pound cardstock, I need to work the fold a little bit more than on like a 65 or an 80 pound. So we fold on them and then we will burnish that fold on both sides. And we will do that to both pieces. So again, I worked the fold first with my fingers. And then I will turn it over and I will increase that fold with my bone folder. Now we are going to place double-sided tape, at least I use double-sided tape, on our half-inch flap. So when it's folded, I want to see the tape. You can also use a wet glue, that's fine. I choose to use a double-sided tape and I like to use the 3/8 of an inch. For my construction, that's my favorite size to use. And I will stay closer to the cut edge than to the folded edge. That's one. Do the other piece. And you can place your tape before you fold the flaps over, and then you need to place the tape on the dented side of your score line. And that's probably a little bit easier to do than first fold and then. Okay, that fell on the floor. Then we go back to our pieces A. And we are going to place our B piece on top of the A piece. And we will be lining it up as perfect as we can. And it doesn't matter if you have your tape on your sides or on the top and the bottom, because it's a square. So it doesn't matter where you're opening or where your tape is at this stage. So I've lined it up. I'm going to remove my tape backing. I'm holding the pieces in place. Just like that. And I like to work on my right side, so I will turn it over. Again, remove the tape backing. Just like that. And that's our first base page. It's like a tunnel that we've created. So we are going to do the same thing to the other A and B piece. Again, I'm lining it up. And I just choose to do it on the tape on the sides because it's just easier for me to attach it. And again, because it's a square, it doesn't really matter, as long as it lines up. It's on one side. And that's the other one. So now I will use my bone folder just to make it really stick. And I'm sorry if I am shaking you around because my tripod is attached to my table. So that's our two base pages that are going to create our cover. So now we will be working on our spine pieces. And first we are going to start with piece C. So we have 3 pieces of Krafttex, one larger one and 2 smaller one, and we are going to start with the larger one. And we have scored this piece on half an inch on both sides, and we are also going to fold on these score lines towards the bumpy side. And again, the Krafttex is really sturdy, so you will need to work that fold a little bit. Again, we are going to burnish that fold. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Now what we are going to do is we are going to taper this 1/2 inch flaps that we have on the outside of the piece, because we are going to place this piece into our base page, and when we kind of cut these on an angle, it will go in there a little bit easier. So what we will do is we start cutting, and it's a little bit difficult to see on the black. Here's the score line that we've made and that we folded on, and we are going to start cutting at the score line. And with a little angle, we are going to cut a little bit away of that flap, just like that. And we are going to do that on all sides. And I always like to start cutting at my score line and don't cut towards the score line, because then you have a little chance that you will cut through it, and you don't want that. So I always start at my score line. So that means that I have to turn the piece around a little bit, but that's fine. So that gives us this. Now I will get my base pages in here, and I will see if my spine fits in there, and it fits perfectly. And let's try the other side as well. Yes. So to attach Krafttex onto our pages, we are not able to use a double-sided tape because it won't stick to the Krafttex very well. So in order to do so, we need to use a wet glue. And I like to use the Glossy Accents by Ranger. And what I also know works really well is the Fabric Tag by Scotch, I think it is. So we are going to apply this onto our 1/2 inch on the Krafttex, and we try to stay away from the score and fold line a little bit. And again, I just like to work on my right side, so I am turning the piece over, but there is no right or wrong side at this moment. And we will apply the glossy accents on both sides of that 1/2 inch. You don't need a whole lot. It will just ooze out, and that's not a really big problem. It dries clear, but it gives a little bit of a shine, the glossy accents. And then we are going to shove it in there up to the score line. We want to see the score line still. And then we will push it down, and I will check how the other side looks. And that looks good to me, so we will burnish it. And we need to give it a little bit of time to really dry. But we can do the same thing to the other side now. So again, I will apply the glossy accents on there. On both sides of that 1/2 inch, staying away from that fold line a little bit. And also on the other side. And then we will get our other base page and we will get that in there. And again, up to that score line. Don't go over it. You want to see the score line when you put it down. And you have a little bit of wiggling time with this. It doesn't dry just like with the art glitter glue that dries really quick. But this gives you a little time to shove it around and get it there where you want it. And the back looks good as well. So this is the base of our cover, but we're not done yet because we have our 2 smaller pieces of Krafttex, and we are going to repeat what we did in the middle, but now we are going to do it on the sides of the pages. So we leave this to dry, and you can place like a heavy book or something on it just to give it some pressure, but I'm not doing it at this moment. So again, we scored these pieces, 2 score lines. And we are going to fold on those score lines. And then burnish the fold. And it's just a little tougher to do it on this sturdy material. But that's one. Let's do the other one. And the Krafttex, if you have it, then you might have noticed that the sides are not the same. One side is a little bit smoother and the other side is a little bit more rough. So both sides you can use it. There's no wrong or right side on it. Just make sure that when you score it, that you score it on the same side on every piece, because otherwise you will have the smooth side showing on one piece and the rougher side showing on the other piece, and I think you want to have that consistent. So again, we are going to taper those little corners, starting at that score line again. That's one. And that's the other one. So again, I will see if they fit in there. This should fit, but it's always good to check. Now you can make some adjustments if you need to. And here I need to. I didn't taper it very well, so. Yes, that's better. And the other side. And this is why it's good to try, but it fits. Okay, so we will do the same thing with the glossy accents again, staying away from that score line. We will apply it on both sides of one of the half-inch, well, let's call it a hinge. And also on the other side. And then we will place it in there. Again, up to that score line. See how it goes over here. That looks good. Apply some pressure on there. And just give it some time to dry, and then we will be doing the same thing on the other side. Applying the glossy accents. And get it in there. Try to get it straight. Okay. Just close this one up real quick. So again, we are going to burnish it and give it time to dry. Apply pressure on it with a heavy book or something that you have laying around. So this is the cover, and we are able to close it. We are going to make pieces that will attach to the spines on the side, of course, and then we will have a 1/2 inch spine on the outside of our pages of our cover. So this is what we have for now. So in the next video we will continue with the inside, and I think we will be starting on the left inside of the folio. So this is it for now. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully see you in the next video.